Mental health. What is mental health? My team and I took it upon ourselves to unravel the mystery surrounding this pressing topic, mental health. And this is how it all played out.
Yeah, good afternoon, Accra, Ghana, Africa and beyond. It's your boy Kevin here on the streets today to interview people about mental health, what they understand by mental health. So now we can start by, let's just move. I'm going to see if I want to ask what I'm share bet. Ombe Johnny, who they share around there.
Look around.
If you feel, see there's something. So it's run. All right. Once I'm kind. See how I talk. You don't go run. I beg. Make having much of your time, man. Then about me, Kevin. You see there's something. I'm having an interview on mental health. So we don't know just what you understand by mental health.
I don't get an idea.
Is it? Oh. No.
My view or my concern is maybe somebody that is not normal. Yeah, maybe somebody who behave abnormality and. Yeah.
Abnormally in what way?
Oh, we have somebody that maybe their IQ is not functioning properly.
Okay.
Yeah, and that is caused by this in the mental. If somebody have a mental health, that's a result of that. So, yeah, that's my concept with that.
Boss, thank you for that time. Hello, Accra, Ghana, Africa and beyond. It's your boy Kevin here once again. On our last episode, we interviewed people on the streets asking about what they understand by mental health. But today, we are here with an expert, someone who knows what we're talking about, right? We are here with Sir Prince. I'm about to disseminate the thing, you know what I'm saying? So, Sir Prince, please, what do you understand by the concept mental health?
Okay. To my understanding, when we talk about mental health, we are talking about a person's state of mind. Here, talking about his psychological, emotional, social, or even cultural, how the person relates well with people in the society. When you talk about psychological, how well, if the person is a student, how well the person is able to study, or how well the person is able to think, or how well the person is able to memorize. Okay.
So you mean it's not just about mad people on the street? Or?
Oh, not really. I think for some years, we all had that misconception that when we talk about mental health, we are talking about people who are mad in society. But through studies, we all came to know that it differs a bit. Just as I explained earlier.
So students also go through mental health illnesses or disorders?
Oh yes. So when we talk about disorder or even disease, it's just disorder in the body. So when we talk about mental health illness or disorder, we are talking about the person not being able to properly relate well in terms of emotional, psychological, health-wise, or even cultural. So that is what we mean by a mental health illness.
So how will someone know that he has that kind of disorder?
Yeah, so as I said, we have some factors that influences your mental health. Some of the factors is some of the psychological factors. So psychologically, you see that the person is able to think well, the person can solve problems. Let's assume a student. But some few days when you come to class, you can't concentrate. When they are teaching, then you are thinking about something else. So that the person is in a state of what? Disorderliness in terms of what? Health. Maybe socially, the person when he comes to class, he's an extrovert. He interacts with his friends, play and other things. But you realize that for some few days, the person don't feel like being around anybody, feel like being alone. Then we could say that socially, the person has what? Some disorder. Or in terms of culturally, or you can talk about even mentally. So we have a lot of factors that influences that.
Wow.
So how do we treat it? Like, is it treatable or is it a permanent something?
Oh, since the person was once not in that state and now has assumed the new state, I think that there could be a way that we can actually find solution.
Okay, but to create a point, but madness is also part of the mental health disorders, right?
Yes, I think so, because when people are in a certain state, I think madman, they see us rather as what we be mad people, rather than we also seeing them. So they are comfortable in their situation, but we also see it to be a disorder. So I think madness is also a mental health disorder.
So it can be treated.
Oh yes. So when someone is mad, usually they take them to a rehabilitation center. They see the psychologist. So we have a lot of players that work on the person. So health-wise, you see an expert, maybe a doctor who works on the brain, to see that if there is any part of the brain or mentally which is in order. When that is done, maybe they will see a psychology who look at, okay, maybe is there any kind of disorder in terms of the person's relation. Maybe the person is going through some marriage challenges. The person needs people to talk to. Let me give you a typical example. I had a brother that was at the university. For some time when we come to when we come to the hall or when we are in the room, you see, he start putting his hand on everybody's head and praying for us. My brother, we thought, it was just a normal joke, until the thing continues for a very long while. Even when we were sleeping, we realized he was doing it. In this case, the state that we knew he was, we saw that the thing was worsening. So in that case, we see that no, that is not an orderly state of mind. It's a disorder.
But what if the Holy Spirit is telling him to do it or something?
So if you are talking about Holy Spirit, then we can have a religious aspect too, who will come in. So as I said, we have a lot of players who determine whether the person is in a mental state of disorder. Religiously, we can find out. Some people, when they are in a state of mental disorder, they think that, it is the Holy Spirit that has caused it, taken over. It could also be that is a word. So we need an aspect in the field of study, psychologically, socially, religiously. All those players will come into play to determine if actually what the person is going through is it's an illness or a disorder.
Wow. So that's it, folks. See you next time.
Good afternoon, everyone. So we are here on City Campus. We are done interviewing Sir Prince about his opinion about mental health, and we are here to interview our dear sister from another department on her opinion about mental health. So, hello, what's your name?
I'm Pamela.
Please, we are here discussing about mental health, any issue concerning mental health. So, what's your idea about mental health?
Okay. Mental health is more of something that has to do with the brain. So it depends. We have psychological factors, mental factors that all come up together to cause the mental health issues. So when you say mental health, we don't necessarily mean someone who is going about on the streets. You and I can have mental health.
So mental health doesn't necessarily mean that someone is mad or something like that.
No, not at all. Okay, it can mean that though, but in our your friend is saying, our tradition or in the society we live in, people think it's only when you're on the streets that you're mad. But mental problem has to do with the brain. So when there are some small issues with your brain and then how it works, you can also have problems with your mental health or your mental state.
Oh, okay.
So you and I can have mental problem. Yes, exactly, because you and I can have mental problems. It's not only as being naked on the streets that will show that we have mental problem. We have depression. There's something like depression. We have stress. We are students. We go through a lot of stress.
So you mean you also have mental health?
Exactly. It's a mental factor. The stress is more of something that we are being stressed out. We are students, so it has to do with the brain. When the brain is too tired to work, that is stress. And there is something like anxiety too. Sometimes we have exams. There's something called exams fever. So maybe when you're going to write your paper, you'll be anxious and all that. It's also a mental, yes, it's a factor. All that can lead to mental health. So there are effects of it. That's the bipolar, those mental problems. So people on the streets, they are so unfortunate that maybe they didn't have people to take care of them and all that. That's why they're on the streets. See, so that's what I think about. That's what I know.
Okay. Thank you, our dear sister. So that's her opinion about mental health.
So what can we draw from this? People who haven't had the time to research about the concept of mental health say even students can be affected by the negative side of this mental health condition, which are the mental health disorders or illnesses.
Did you know people with mental health condition die 10 to 20 years earlier than the general population? Yes, in 2019, 970 million people globally were living with mental disorder, with anxiety and depression being the most common. Join me as I discuss the silent crisis mental health in Ghana. Mental health is a critical aspect of our overall well-being, yet it remains an insignificant topic in many societies, especially in Africa and Ghana to be precise. The World Health Organization defines mental health as a state of well-being in which every individual realizes their own potentials, can cope with normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to their community. However, mental health for some people is a great issue. The deal of not taking care of our mental health can be severe, leading to a decrease in our work, our interactions with others, and most importantly, how we see ourselves. Disclaimer. While there has been significant progress in recognizing and addressing mental health issues in Ghana, data on the specific prevalence and impact of mental disorders can be limited due to various factors, including underreporting and lack of comprehensive data collection systems. However, based on data and estimates, here are some key statistics. Prevalence of mental disorders. 90% of Ghanaians suffer from some form of mental illness. 41% experience psychological stress, whilst 3% suffer from mental disorders. Treatment gap. Over 98 people with mental disorders in Ghana do not receive treatment. Other key statistics. Suicide. Suicide rates are increasing, particularly among young people. The World Bank's reports that suicide mortality rate in Ghana in 2019 was 66 per 100,000 population. This means that in 2019, approximately 1,500 suicides were reported in Ghana. While there isn't a specific 2024 figure available yet, this trend is influenced by various factors, including mental health issues, societal economic challenges, and cultural stigma. Substance abuse. Studies and reports have indicated that substance abuse, particularly among adolescents, is a significant issue in Ghana. For example, a study published in Health Science Investigation Journal in 2024 found alarming rates of substance use among high school students in the northern region. Stigmatization. Over 60% of adults with a mental health condition do not seek often treatment due to stigma. Harmful stereotypes such as being crazy or weak can lead to social isolation and low self-esteem. Also, there is a fear of judgment and negative reactions from others can also stop people from disclosing their mental health struggles. Specific mental health issues include anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, eating disorders, substance abuse, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. To help address the mental health in Ghana, a multifaceted approach is necessary. 1. Destigmatization. To help promote a secure environment for mental health, having open conversations about mental health and challenging negative stereotypes can help reduce stigma. 2. Increase access to care. expanding access to mental health service, especially in rural areas. There can be development of telehealth service to reduce geographical barriers. There can also be a language service to help interpret and translate services to ensure effective communication with patients. To help interpret and translate services to ensure effective communication with patients. 3. Policy and advocacy. Strengthening mental health policy and advocacy are crucial components in addressing mental health challenges. Engaging in key policies like increased funding, integrating of mental health into primary care, development of health policies, etc., can eradicate mental health in our societies. Did you know dancing? Yes, dancing is a fun way to get moving and improve your mood. 4. Self-care and well-being. Self-care is important for maintaining good mental health. Here are some ways to prioritize your well-being: regular exercise, healthy diet, mindful eating. Also, you can seek professional help if needed.
We have the power to change the narrative about mental health in Ghana, but it starts with us. It's time to make mental health a priority. Start the conversation, share this video, and let's break the stigma together.
You could save a life by showing love, kindness, and understanding. Mental health matters because you matter. Mental health,
It is okay not to be okay.
The slogan says it all. Because of the rigid structure of our African masculinity, whenever we are tagged with the word mental, we feel a profound sense of shame. We take it too personal, as we should, but not in the way we currently do. And because of this structure, whenever we hear the word mental, we see the madman. And every African knows the madman. We ask our parents the cause of their state and they say, drugs is the will of God, witchcraft, spirit possession. But as we grow old, we realize that that's not the case. Stress and depression are also examples of mental illnesses, yet we disregard them and only see the madman. Globally, 70% of mental illness cases can be found in low-income countries, yet most African governments invest less than 1% of their healthcare budget on mental health. 90% of Africans lack access to treatment, and as a result, we suffer in solitude, silenced by stigma. The stigmatization against mental illness often results in the demonization of sufferers. Somehow, when it comes to mental illness, our ignorance eviscerates all empathy. Facing enormous stress, anyone can suffer an anxiety attack. Yet we suffer in silence. So deep is our fear of being the madman. We need to see mental health as important as physical health. We must stop suffering in silence. We must stop stigmatizing disease and traumatizing the afflicted. Talk to your friends. Talk to your loved ones. Talk to a health professional. Be vulnerable. Do so with the confidence that you are not alone. Speak up if you're struggling. Being honest about how we feel doesn't make us weak. It makes us human. It's time to end the stigma associated with mental illnesses. Mental health, it's okay not to be okay.